This award will be given biannually by the outgoing president, and it was created to recognize excellence in ally advocacy organizations who are working to advance the legal rights of children and families. And it is my distinct privilege to be able to honor the Young Center for Immigrant Children's Rights as the very first President's Award winner. They were founded in 2004 in Chicago, and they are today in the cities of, I don't want to miss one, Houston, Harlingen, San Antonio, Phoenix, Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., and New York. And that is a growth trajectory anyone could be proud of. They provide direct representation as well as policy advocacy to unaccompanied immigrant minors, as well as issues regarding separation of families. In recent years, we have all become tragically and horrifyingly aware of the separation of immigrant children from their parents at the borders without even the pretense of an allegation of abuse or neglect, just routinely shuttling parents through one door and children through another. And the Young Center has been really at the forefront of shining a bright light on this horrifying practice. No one can understand the trauma and tragedy of this type of separation better than we can, the people who do this child welfare work every single day. And they have really been at the forefront of the calls to action to recognize and stop the practice of ruining the families that are coming across our borders. And so I am privileged and honored and humbled to be able to present this award to the Young Center and to introduce to you the founder and the executive director, Maria Woltjen. Maria, congratulations.
Thank you so much, President Mays, for that wonderful introduction. We really appreciate it. And I just want to say on behalf of the Young Center, our staff all across the cities and all those cities that you mentioned, and our board of directors, thank you so much, President Mays, and the National Association of Children's Counsel for this award. I want to also thank Kim Dvorchak. We have really treasured our partnership with NACC, and we really look forward to collaborating in the years ahead. I just want to say a couple of words about what we do. So we are at the Young Center lawyers, social workers, volunteer coordinators, and paralegals. We are appointed by the federal government to serve as child advocate, which is like a guardian ad litem for unaccompanied and separated kids in deportation proceedings. And our role is to advocate for the best interests of these kids. So as most of you know, the unaccompanied kids are apprehended at the border and they're charged with violating immigration law. They're placed in deportation proceedings and appear in front of an immigration judge where they face off against attorneys from the Department of Homeland Security, even the youngest kids. And I think there are three important things to know. Number one, these kids have the burden to prove they should not be deported. It's not the government's burden. These kids are not provided with attorneys at government expense. Instead, it's up to nonprofits around the country to represent these kids, and all of those organizations are under-resourced. So a lot of kids go unrepresented. Lastly, there is no best interest of the child standard when it comes to immigrant children, and this is what we've set out to change over the last 16 years. Our goal all along has been to incorporate child welfare principles into the immigration system. And of course, I know, and as many of you on this call know, our child welfare systems are imperfect. But in the immigration system, kids are, for the most part, treated like adults. It's like the pre-Jane Addams world. So when we started in 2004, no one in the immigration system knew the meaning of best interest. They'd never heard of a child advocate. But we kind of waltzed ahead and acted as if we had official authority, which we did not then. Everyone went along with us. The detention facilities allowed us in to meet with the kids. The immigration judge here in Chicago recognized us on the record and allowed us to speak. And so we just kept going. And then 4 years later, in 2008, in the waning days of the Bush presidency, he actually signed into law a provision in the anti-trafficking law that said that Health and Human Services has the authority to appoint independent child advocates for unaccompanied kids, and that our role is to advocate for the best interests of the child. So back then we had one office in Chicago. We had just hired our second attorney, Jennifer Nagda, who's now our policy director. A year later, in 2009, we hired Elizabeth Frankel to open an office on the border in Harlingen, Texas. It's right on the border with Mexico, and Liz is now our associate director. And today we have 70 incredible staff across eight offices across the country. They argue across the spectrum to get kids released from custody, to get kids reunified with family, to make sure kids don't go into adult immigration jail, to get them into the least restrictive setting. And they advocate on the ultimate decision about whether a child can remain in the United States, and present arguments about why it's not in a child's best interest to be sent back to their home countries. So because of the work of our child advocate team today, unlike all those years ago, immigration judges ask for child advocates, asylum officers ask for best interest recommendations, custodial officials refer kids for the appointment of child advocates, and every now and then, even an ICE official asks for a child advocate. I will admit it's pretty rare. And after 16 years of receiving best interest recommendations, I think they've realized that they actually want and benefit from having information about whether kids will be safe. We also do policy work, which is driven by the issues that our staff see in the field. And we take those to our policy team, which advocates on the Hill and with federal agencies, where we partner with NACC, and we learn from our colleagues in child welfare and juvenile justice. I want to just acknowledge some of our senior team who are on the front lines, because they make this all possible. Gladys Molina, Olivia Pena, Marisa Chumil, Mari Dorn Lopez, Marcy Phillips, Mary Miller Flowers, Vanessa Pineda, Carrie Vanderhook, Juan Gonzalez, Kelly Cribbs, Maria Barbosa Grosek, Pam Nickel, Priscilla Monaco Marin, Shayna Ximenes, and Mariana Alvarez. And the senior staff behind the scenes who make it possible to do what we do every day, Sarah Waxman and AJ Albanak. Today, we face challenges we never anticipated. The government is violating federal law, the anti-trafficking law, which allows kids to be released to family when they arrive at the border on their own, to go before an immigration judge and ask for protection. But today, under this administration, these kids are being turned away, and no one is asking them before they get sent back, who will you return to? Where are your parents? Do you have anyone to take care of you? Will you be safe? These kids are either immediately turned around, or they're kept in hotels where they're being minded by a private company. We have no idea what their credentials are, to wait until they can be flown back to their home countries, or they're walked right back across the border to Mexico. And all of this is under cover of the false pretext of COVID. But the truth is, this administration has wanted to do this from day one. But our staff are not giving up. They fight for these kids every day, no matter the obstacles. They cajole, they argue, and like all of you in the child welfare and juvenile justice worlds, they get creative. My colleague, Olivia Pena, put it better than anyone I know. If the door closes, we're gonna figure out how to get around it and find another door, or we're going to make our own door. So on behalf of all of my colleagues and the board of the Young Center, thank you once again to President Mays, to Kim, and to NACC for this honor. It really means so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you so much to your team for their relentless advocacy, the battles that they are up against. It really is model advocacy for all of us. Get around the door, or find your own door. I think that's a great lesson for all of us to use.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Candy. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Congratulations. Keep making good trouble.
Thank you.